Good morning. It was almost 14 years ago. My dad was dying of congestive heart failure. He was in his last couple of weeks of life, and all of us in the family knew this. He was fading pretty quickly. And out of the blue, this mysterious lady showed up in my life. Stick around. I'm going to tell you all about this lady, why she came to me, and what my thoughts on it are. So, as I said, it was almost 14 years ago. Dad had been in congestive heart failure for months, in and out of the hospital every few weeks. And it was an incredibly difficult time for our family, for my mom, for us, my wife and I, my kids, for all of us, as you can imagine. When we got to the last couple of weeks of Dad's life, we all knew he was fading fast. We knew his time was short. And at that time in my life, everything in my life was intense. Everything was intense, like never before in all my years. Colors were intense. Things I heard were intense and sunk in. Every movement, every word, every thought was incredibly intense. I felt like I was in tune with life, like I had never been before. We all have times when we're in tune with our lives more than other times. But this time was different. I was in my mid-50s. I'm the oldest of the kids in our family. It's just me and my brother. And I had been taking care of my mom and dad for years. My wife and I had. And when I say taking care of them, they were healthy for the most part all through those years. But helping them take care of their house and stuff like that. But everything was incredibly intense. I felt life like I had never felt it before. So much so that I wish life was like that every day. I was glad for the time I had with my dad while he was fading. We had a lot of very heartfelt conversations. My dad was an old school guy, so he wasn't really an I love you guy. When Dad wanted to tell you he loved you, he gave you a gentle pat on the back, and that was his way. And then suddenly, out of the blue, this mysterious lady showed up. And the first time I saw her, she was very far off in the distance. But I saw this woman, and I don't really know, I didn't know at the time why she captured my attention, but I felt like she was there for me. I saw her off in the distance. I couldn't really tell what she looked like. She was so far away. And she was dressed in white, in sort of a very light fabric flowing set of clothes. And she was there for a few moments, and I stared at her, and then she was gone, just like that. And suddenly I was like, what was that all about? Why did that woman capture my attention like that? And I thought about it that day, and then I forgot about it. It was about a week later. Again, this woman appeared. But this time, she was much, much closer to me. Much closer. Not close enough that I could speak to her, but close enough where I got a much better look at her. I still couldn't tell what she looked like. It was almost like her face was partially turned away from me. And there she was again, in that same white set of clothes, just kind of billowing around her in the breeze. So now I'm wondering what's going on. What's happening here? And it was intense. And then again, she was gone. And I just couldn't figure out what in the world was going on. I did not just blow it off this time. I thought about this. It was in my head. And I told my wife about it, and, she had her thoughts on it. And about a week later, my dad's time was very, very short. We had brought him home by this time to spend his last few days here with our family. And we knew he was within a day or two of passing. And that woman, that mysterious lady, came to me again. And this time, she was standing right next to me. And she was beautiful. And she was in the same flowing white attire. And she never said a word to me. And even when I looked at her, I knew she was beautiful, but it was almost like she was faceless, like featureless. And I tried speaking to her. I don't even remember what I said. And I felt a feeling of reassurance, of everything's going to be okay. And then she was gone, just like that. This woman, this mysterious lady, came to me in dreams. Literally in my dreams at night. I had never, ever in all my years had dreams like that. And at this point in my life, I didn't dream anymore. I mean, they say we all dream every night, but I didn't wake up remembering my dreams. So when I had that first dream about this lady, it just jarred me, and it really had no meaning at all for me. After the second dream about this lady where she was much closer, I began to think, she's here for a reason. I wonder why. And then by the time I had the third dream and she was standing next to me, I knew that this lady was an angel that had come to me to comfort me, even to kind of guide me through those days. It was a difficult time for my family. We had a lot of hard health decisions to make for my dad, and I didn't want my mom to be burdened with those decisions in the future after dad passed. So I made those decisions for our family. It was a very, very difficult time. But having that lady, that angel, come to me in my dreams gave me immense comfort. It was intense, peaceful. And it was like I just knew what to do and what to say after she was there. After the third dream, my dad passed within a day. And I've never had that dream since. I've never dreamt of that lady. Even when my mom was in her last weeks before passing away, I never had that dream. I never dreamt that lady again. I've actually prayed for that lady to come to me in my dreams, and it's never happened. As I said in the beginning of this video, I was so in tune with life at that time that my dad was in his last weeks. Everything was so intense. Why did this happen? Well, I'll kind of leave that up to you to speculate or to have your ideas. I would love to hear your ideas on why. I will say this. As my dad was fading, my dad was a tough guy. He was a small military guy, tough dad, good man. But he was, as I said, he was not an I love you guy except for that gentle pat on the back. But when we brought him home, that first day or two he was here, I think he was here 3 days before he passed. He was very at peace with his situation. He told me more than once that he was ready. He had become a man of very strong faith his last couple years of life. And he said some things to me, my brother, and other family members that have served me well. The things he said to me have served me well over the last 14 years. And I will talk about that at a future date in a future video. So, whenever you make a video talking about these kind of things, you always wonder if people are going to think you're out there in the breeze a little bit. This is the second video I've made in a short time on my new channel about angels. And do I believe they're real? You better believe I do. Because both of the stories I have about angels cannot be explained any other way. Both times that the angels came to me, came to my family, we were at difficult, very, very difficult times in our lives. It just makes me wonder if they're there all the time, watching, waiting for the right moment to help us. I have no idea why, even when my mom was in her last weeks, I didn't have these same kind of experiences. Maybe it was because when my dad was in his last weeks, I had never lost anybody that I was so emotionally connected to. My parents. And I think maybe that angel came to me to guide me through that difficult time so that in the future I would know how to deal with those things better on my own. That's the only thing I can explain that explains it to me. I'd love to hear your stories that are similar to this one. Don't be shy. Put them out there in the comments. I'll be glad to comment back to you. I'm Kaz. This is Cause and Effect. I like to talk about life, positive experiences, and the goodness in the world. I'm hoping you'll do the same. I'm hoping you'll get something from my channel and carry it with you to make your life and the lives of those around you just a little bit better. I'm going to end with this, as I usually do. Be kind. Do something kind for somebody out there in the world today. It doesn't have to be big. Even a small act of kindness can help change the world. It's up to us to make the world a better place. Everybody take care.